So I think a lot of people are quite confused about airspace restrictions for drones, but it's actually quite simple once you get the hang of it. So if you go onto Drone Assist app, that's probably the best app for the UK. Okay, and really, you are just looking for these red sort of shapes here. So it could be a red circle, it could be a red polygon. So we're just going to click on the red circle, and that's an airport, EGRU 126 Fair Oaks, and we can just click on the airport name and it will give you some more information. Now, what you can look for to check whether this restriction applies to drones is the vertical limits, and it says this piece of airspace is in effect between surface and 2,000 feet above ground level. That means it applies to drones. Okay, if that airspace restriction started at, say, 4,000 feet, then it clearly would not apply to drones. So that's something to look at. Now, if you do want to try and get permission to fly in that airspace, you will have to contact that airport. Now, they're not always circles, so we've also got polygons here. Okay, that is a danger area, which is probably a military danger area. It is red. Now, it says the scheduled airspace is only active any day of the week between 8 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. So between 11:59 p.m. and 8 a.m. you can actually fly there. So you do need to check in these comments whether the airspace is active and whether it applies to drones. Now, you also have these yellow circles here, and these are usually glider sites, private airports. So this is a small arms range, and they're actually only they're only kind of warnings. They're not airspace restrictions. Okay, they're just there to warn you that that could be hazardous to operate your drone in that area. So you've got Ascot Heliport here, and with some of them, if you do want to fly your drone in that area, you are better off actually ringing them up and just kind of pre-warning them of where you're going to be, when you're going to be there, and they can then inform you about whether there's going to be a helicopter flying past or a glider flying past when you're trying to fly your drone. Now, these blue circles, which is what most people get confused about, are actually usually just kind of NOTAMs, notice to airmen, or flight reports that users have submitted within this app. And they are literally just information. They're not restrictions. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to fly your drone there, but you should read them and see what's actually going on there to see whether that's going to pose any risk to your flight. Okay, so in general, you are looking for the red shapes